Welcome to Tom's Wheelhouse. You know, Facebook Marketplace and eBay are great places to find good deals and hard to find items, but in many cases, things don't get disclosed as well as they should. Now, not trying to blame sellers for this. This is usually just a problem of not knowing what to look for or maybe getting something posted a little too quickly. Today, we're going to talk about used rim brake wheels, and I'm going to give you the top 3 things you should look for and ask about if you're buying a used set of rims from eBay, Facebook Marketplace, or even one of your buddies. The wheels in question today are a set of 2011 era Mavic Ksyrium SLs. Before carbon fiber became the high-performance rim of choice for virtually all bikes out there, Mavic was the leader of high-performance wheels, and the Ksyrium SL was a super stiff, very lightweight set of wheels that came on a lot of nicer bikes. And if you're looking to restore something from that era, this is going to be your wheel set of choice. You can usually find these on eBay for around $300 for a set, but given that they're now 15 years old, you need to look for a few things to make sure that they're okay and going to get you some more miles. Now, this wheel set that my buddy Matt got was $275, and the description was pretty minimal. The seller said, Mavic Ksyrium wheel set, rims are straight, bearings feel good, some nipple damage, and I think that was about it. Now, the some nipple damage is a line that I would have questioned further before purchasing them, and we're going to look at that in more detail when we get to the front wheel. But we're going to start with the rear wheel first because it's the better of the two. So I'm going to put the front wheel down and we'll take a look at the rear rim, which is actually pretty good, but still not acceptable. So first things first, the spoke tension is actually really good. It's almost perfect all the way around. Measuring each spoke, I've found very little deviation in spoke tension. This thing is true and straight. I would be happy to mount this up and ride it, no problem. The bearings feel okay in the back. They feel pretty smooth. The free hub does exhibit some drag. And this was really common with Mavic free hubs, is that they would develop drag and you would put them on the stand, spin the cranks and let go, and the whole system, the chain would continue to drive almost like a fixed gear bike. Common problem, very simple fix. It's a light overhaul. Usually you don't need any replacement parts, but it does need to be done. The problem on the rear rim or rear wheel is really at the rim. There's a lot of damage that was not disclosed. It's all minor, but we have little scuffs and nicks all the way around from where it probably had a flat tire or hit a pothole. And there's obvious signs of excessive wear. The decals are really worn, and while I'm not worried about the decals, that level of wear on the decals is also indicative of other problems throughout. The main thing to consider about rim brake rims is that your rims are consumable because they are your braking surface. Every time you brake, you're effectively grinding away the rim material, and eventually they have to be retired or they'll just fail. Most manufacturers say, I think, anywhere from 10 to 20,000 miles for a rim's life, and I would say this one is at least at 12. One of the things that you can check for, or you can ask a seller to check for, is to take a flat edge and put it against the rim itself. And if you can see significant curvature or daylight, which I can see a lot of, you know that that rim is well into, if not beyond, its life expectancy. This is a good way for sellers to show that rims are good, or buyers to see that rims are good or not so good. If you can see significant daylight with a flat edge against that rim, you know that the rim is curved, or the rim surface is now curved. It's had a lot of braking surface removed, and it doesn't have much life yet left. Eventually, what's going to happen with this rim is we're either going to get spoke pull through, or the rim is actually going to separate under the pressure of the tire. You search Reddit bike forums, you're going to see somebody post one of those pictures saying, can this be fixed? It can't. So that's the biggest thing about the rear rim, and if that were the case with the front, I'd be okay with this as something that got sold, but we've got a lot more going on with the front rim. The rim surface itself is actually better than the rear rim, and that's pretty commonplace for most wheels. Most people break more in the rear than the front, but this is where we get that spoke nipple damage. And so the one spoke you put a picture of, I can't find it right now, but it's missing about a quarter of its sidewall, which means it's inoperable. It's going to have to be replaced. And if you want to replace the spoke nipple on this wheel set, it has to be this spoke, this nipple, because everything is proprietary in Mavic Ksyrium SLs. They're also proprietary to generation, so you're probably not going to be able to use a spoken nipple from a 2005 Ksyrium on this wheel set and vice versa. But that's not the only problem. All of the spokes have some amount of damage where anodize has gotten nicked off, where somebody's kind of trued it a little too aggressively. But the big thing is we've got these spokes that seem to have, and when I check them, they have no tension whatsoever. Something's going on. Typically, when you see this on a fully tensioned wheel, it's not the spoke, and it's not. What's happened here is what we call pull-through, and I'll put in a detailed shot up above. Basically, there's a curve in the rim and a little micro tear below it where the rim has separated under the tension of this high tension spoke. Sometimes that just happens due to long life and fatigue. I think we have one other spoke that's doing the same thing. We have at least 2 spokes with 0 tension on them. This is an 18-spoke wheel, and 2 spokes have failed, and they're not getting fixed because the rim is toast. This wheel is not straight like the rear rim is, and in my opinion, not rideable. It would be pretty dangerous to mount a tire and take this on a ride, because when you have one spoke in a radially spoked, low spoke count wheel that's gone effectively, it usually creates a bit of a domino effect. So this could result in a pretty catastrophic failure while riding. I wouldn't recommend anybody attempt to fix or ride this wheel. And it's something that as a seller, you need to have a little bit more due diligence in looking for things like this. More likely than not, the last time he rode this wheel set, which could have been years ago before he put them in the garage, they were fine. And he didn't notice any problems. And he graduated to a disc brake bike or a nicer bike, and he just thought, I'm cleaning the garage out. But to overlook something like this is a potential liability, because somebody could get severely hurt. So what do we look for and what do we ask for when we're buying used wheel sets, especially used rim brake sets? First and foremost, you want to ask the seller to get a flat edge of some sort, put it on the rim, and either tell you or take pictures of what's going on. Front rim's not so bad, but there is wear. The rear rim is bad, and it's enough to let me know that I don't want to invest in the short lifespan of that rear rim. Spoke tension is number 2. If we can get our sellers to ideally put a spoke tension meter on each spoke, that would be great. Most people don't have that tool, and that's okay, but they could just hand stress those spokes. And if anybody did a video of hand stressing these spokes, you would know right away something's going on. The third thing to look for, which is the hardest to deduce and it's the most subjective, is the bearing wear. He said the bearings feel good, and to most people they do. The rear actually do feel good. I can tell on the front there's not much grease in these cartridge bearings, which means at a minimum they're going to need to be overhauled with new grease. More likely than not, you would just replace the bearings. Not a lot of money, but if you invest, say, another $100 or so in new bearings on this wheel set, you've bumped up the total price of what you've invested. So I hope this can help you avoid a problem like Matt ran into, or avoid selling something that you really shouldn't sell. These are the things to keep an eye out for and to look for. There are a lot of great products out there. A lot of wheels didn't see a lot of use or were better maintained. But every now and then I'll see somebody get something where it's really good. eBay has a buyer protection clause in place because the seller, of course, listed it as no returns, but this is something that was not described as well as it should have been, and in my opinion, shouldn't have been sold. So hopefully this will help as you search for your next great new-to-you wheel set or bike. Also look for these same things if you're looking at complete bikes. And yeah, until next time.